Unless we put medical freedom into the Constitution, the time will come when medicine will organize into an undercover dictatorship to restrict the art of healing to one class of men and deny equal privileges to others will constitute the Bastille of medical science. All such laws are un-American and despotic and have no place in a republic. The Constitution of this republic should make special privilege for medical freedom as well as religious freedom.
Hello, my name is John Rose, and that was Dr. Benjamin Rush, who was one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence, and he's bringing out a really important point here, that we need to have medical freedoms, because we don't have any freedom right now in this area. So more than anything else, we need to have a medical freedom revolution. More than anything else, we got to put an end to this monopoly that's been given to the worst of all systems out there, whose treatments cause more problems than they supposedly get rid of. In fact, that's how it's designed, believe it or not. There are some really sick people who control everything. And when we try to make some sense out of all of this, where do we start? You realize the role money plays, that's a huge role. You realize that government's a big problem. A lot of people will say that's the whole problem right there, the government, the government, the government. And you have to admit the government has a lot of power, doesn't it? It controls the media, it controls the educational systems, it controls the universities. It has a lot of control. But that's not at the top of the list, because money is the absolute tool of control. Out of all of our subsequent needs that are created because there's something wrong with us, because we're disconnected, because we have the wrong mentality, money is the one that allows a very small group of people to own and control all those other major sectors of human endeavor, which includes our universities. And as a result, academia is destroying knowledge. Doctors are destroying health. Lawyers are destroying justice. Governments are destroying freedom. Everything's upside down in this world. Nothing makes sense. Life is such an illusion, it's mind-boggling. We've got all these obstacles. Where do we begin? Do we focus on the government? Do we focus on the money? Do we focus on our health? Where do we start? What's the cause of all of this? Does that make any sense? Why don't we know any better? How is it our experts are so clueless when it comes to health? And this has been going on forever. We started off with Dr. Benjamin Rush. Now, he was 28 years old when Voltaire died, and we know what Voltaire thought about doctors. He knew out of every 100 of them, 98 of them were charlatans. And they had no idea what they were doing. And that's been going back all the way to biblical days when we read Revelation 18:23. For by sorceries were nations deceived. We've known for a long time that's how we're being hoodwinked, because if our experts in health don't know any better, we're not going to know any better, and then we're sick, and that's what causes all the problems. We are a sixth sense species, but we only have 5 senses. Our sixth one is so low, it's practically non-existent. And that's the problem that we have as a species. We have the wrong mentality. Since we only have 5 species, we have all these subsequent needs because we're now disconnected. We have a subsequent need for education. We have a subsequent need for money, for government, for the media, even for religion and spirituality. And it's all because we're disconnected, which is what the religion and spirituality is trying to help us do, because we're on the wrong path. They're tools a lot of us can use to help us cope with where we are, but the ultimate solution is to put an end to this. The ultimate solution is to gain back our medical freedom. My God, in this country, they can kidnap our children and force poison into them. Unbelievable. We got to stand up and put an end to this right now. We got to organize ourselves, and we can put an end to this medical monopoly right away if we just stop paying with our money. Stop going to them. The problem is too many people have been brainwashed to think these guys are their experts and they have so much faith in them. They don't even want to entertain the idea that their doctors aren't the gods that we hope they are so they can help us. My God, if they can't help us, who can help us? You can help yourself. You are the answer. Got me a frog in my throat all of a sudden. My friends, you can do more for your health and well-being than any doctor, any drug, any exotic medical device, any hospital, anything else out there. When you're in an accident, that's what these guys are good for. Allopathic medicine is only good for one thing: emergencies, period. They have no right having a monopoly. We need a medical revolution now. We got to stand up for this now. Of all the things we need, it has to begin with our health. And we're always going to struggle there if we don't at the same time take back control of printing our own money. If we think about this, folks, there are 6 years in the last century that the powers that be don't want us to study and don't want us to learn. They don't want to see what certain countries did when they stopped allowing people to print their money. That's the only crime these countries are guilty of committing. But because the powers that be write the history books, we've been told a lot of bad things about 6 special years in the last century, so we don't look at it. We're being tricked and we're being duped. Come on, let's stop being fooled. Take a look at what happened last century when 2 countries stopped letting someone else print their money. Why is that important? Because we live on an abundant planet. We have the makings of utopia right now if we simply stop letting someone else enslave us with debt. Now, I know a lot of you are overwhelmed and too challenged by this idea of money, but it's not that complicated. The way our money system works, the Federal Reserve banking system, the way we have fractional reserve loaning out, when $1 billion is created, there's another 90 billion that they get. So there's unfair advantage by this. That's why countries are starving all around the world by playing this money game. And 2 countries stopped playing that game last century, and we're not allowed to investigate that time of history because there's a valuable lesson to be learned from that. That they're using the money to control everything else. So if we want to put an end to this medical monopoly, we have to understand the role that money plays in this equation. Because right now the money is used to control everything. They have an unfair advantage. If we take a look, and it behooves every one of us to do this, take a look at what Germany did in a 6-year period of time. They went from the poorest country to the richest, simply by not playing the money game, by getting out of this debt that was drowning the entire nation. And it's drowning the world in right now. We can wake up from that immediately. We can stop going to doctors and take responsibility and prove to ourselves that health care really is self-care. It begins by us taking responsibility and satisfying all of our needs. Excuse me. Of course, the big problem is most of us don't know what our needs are, and there's more confusion around this for a reason. Small group of people own and control the educational systems. Our experts aren't taught anything. I had some fool comment when I said they don't teach doctors our lymph system. They go, roll over the floor laughing. Oh, you idiot. You think they don't teach the lymph system to them? No, they don't. They might understand a little bit of the technical application, the technical part of it, but they don't understand the practical application. They don't know what it's doing, and they don't have all the maps. That's the key right there. They haven't got all the maps. It was only a couple years ago they found another map in the brain of the lymph system. The main map they don't have is the triangled one at the base of the spine that feeds and drains the kidneys. My friends, our medical system, our medical experts are clueless for a reason. It's by design. They intentionally don't study the lymph system. Now, sure, there's a specialist. They know it's there. They don't have all of the maps. They don't understand the function of it. Reminds me of Harvey Diamond's book, You Can Prevent Breast Cancer. And he said when he was doing his research for that book, he was studying the anatomy books to figure out what the doctors were being taught. And when he read this one little section, he just jumped off the page at him. He goes, oh my God, now I understand. Sure, they understand how it's working technically, but they don't understand what it's supposed to do. These bozos think the cancer's attacking the lymph node. Just like as if a dirt is attacking a vacuum cleaner. It doesn't work that way. It's the other way around. And you don't punish us by cutting out the lymph nodes. Shows you how clueless these clowns are. The appendix, the tonsils, this is part of our lymph system also. It's what they don't understand. They don't teach our doctors how this system works and how it backs up into us. And that's what's causing most of our problems. I've done several videos that explain that in more detail. I include those in all of my recent videos I've done in the last 10 months or so in the description box. Ever since I did those, I think it was back in June or so. Medicine is the ultimate tool of control, and Healing Secrets Revealed. You got to watch these videos. Within 20 minutes of each video, you'll learn more about how the body heals itself than all the doctors on the planet, just about, because they don't study this and how it works. Oh, we know it's there, but they don't have all the maps. They don't know the role it plays when it backs up. They don't understand what's causing anything. That's what's causing our problems. And then what we have to do, once we understand how important it is for us to change, we got to make this change easy. How do we do that? It's simple. It's a solid food vacation, and you know when you do it, my friends, you're in for a treat.